In this episode of Finding You, we're going to discover how to cover your ass. What I mean by that is it has to do with covering the side of you that is most vulnerable so that you feel protected and safe in the world. The world can feel very scary and tumultuous, and we might feel vulnerable all the time. But just remember that you are not living in the jungle anymore. And while there are real threats in modern life, they do not rise to the level at which most of us worry. So the trick is to be careful with real threats and to be able to anticipate them and also let go of things that aren't real. In this way, you can appropriately manage your concern and anxiety and efforts for protection in a way that's useful and efficient while not spending too much time and effort on things that don't matter, whether it's imagined threats or opportunities, such as spending too much time on social media, which itself is a threat even though you don't know it. So the point is to spend attention on the things that might actually be a real threat and cause harm, and to let go of things that you think are beneficial but are actually harmful. And sometimes we have trouble telling the difference. So let's start with what are real threats. Clearly, there are some places in your communities, neighborhoods, organizations, and in the world that are dangerous. They're physically dangerous, and you should take the proper precaution. Lock your doors, use identity theft deterrence, don't answer or open emails or texts or phone calls from people that you don't know. Even the identity of people calling or texting can be set up to make it look like they're from someone you know. So always use your guard and best judgment when responding to suspicious communications. If it doesn't look or feel right, even though it seems to be coming from someone you know or trust, stop and reassess. You can always reach out to that organization or person directly, because the channel by which they may be communicating with you may be hijacked. Most of the other things that we worry about, like not having enough food or water or shelter or housing, might be true for many people in this country and even in the world. But most of the time, we worry about things that aren't going to happen. That's not to say that you don't have backup plans, but know that even your backup plans will need to be sorted through in the moment you actually need to deploy them, because you don't know the circumstances by which you might be finding yourself looking for a new job or repairing your identity or shopping for new insurance. So know that you can take action when the moment comes, and trust that you know generally what to do, or you know who to ask, and you don't need to figure it out all in advance. Trying to do that, anticipate every possible threat and recourse may be the job of some professionals, but for most people and how they live their life is the cause of undue stress and anxiety, which actually undermines your health and well-being and your actual ability to solve problems when they arise. It is much better to invest in taking care of your physical, emotional, and psychological health and well-being by being optimistic and finding fun things to do and exercise and laughing, creating pleasure for yourself. This should, of course, be done in balance with your other responsibilities. It doesn't make sense to work all the time, and it doesn't make sense to play all the time. You should have a good balance of each. And again, not having the right balance is actually a threat that most people do not really attend to in a meaningful way. Same with entertainment and distraction. There's room in your life for some entertainment and distraction, but take note of how much time you actually spend on meaningless activities like social media or mindless news or entertainment without it really bringing you that much value. If you're looking to unwind and relax, then that may be a good recourse. But if you're in your third or fourth hour of mindless entertainment, when you could be spending time with friends or loved ones, or getting outdoors and enjoying fresh air and exercise, or cooking a healthy meal, or engaging in a creative endeavor, this is a fairly low value way to invest your time and energy. And consider whether you're actually doing that to avoid attending to the things that are most important in your life. It can be hard to force yourself to attend to the feelings or the activities that you don't want to face, but just think of how much better you'll feel if you were to go ahead and get that out of the way, and then you can really relax and enjoy something that you really want to do, and that can make your life feel more meaningful or rich or insightful. If you're avoiding something that you have to do anyway, imagine that if you did it sooner than later, that you could spare all the discomfort that you feel between the time you procrastinated and the time you actually did it, and how you could use that time and effort to something that is really more rewarding. This is easier said than done, but being proactive and imagining the things that you're procrastinating on and listing them and making a commitment to do them in small steps if needed can actually just free up so much psychological space and energy. And you might even consider giving yourself a little reward once you complete it. For example, go to your favorite spot in your community and spend some time enjoying yourself there. Or take a little extra time to play with your pet, your child, or a loved one. Or give yourself a small reward, such as reading a book or daydreaming, activities that we often do not set aside sufficient time for. So covering your ass, again, means focusing on only the real threats that are likely to be immediate, because you know that you can deal with actual threats or setbacks when they occur, and also attending to the time wasters and the negative and unhelpful habits that you think might be good for you, but are actually undermining your life little by little without you realizing it, and giving up your habit of distraction to avoid what you really need to do. In this way, you might be able to find a better balance, a lot more energy, a healthier life, more fun and rewarding activities, closer relationships, and just feeling safer and more relaxed in your body and in your life. So cover your ass in the ways that matter, and you'll feel safer and more apt to thrive and be well. So thanks for listening to Finding You. Next week, we're going to discuss how to become the one that you've always dreamed of.